Somebody said Anton is a trust fund kid. He ain't never do stuff. Yep, I'm a trust fund kid. I never did nothing, never earned nothing. Um, Facts, facts. Trust fund kid, 100% facts. You got it. I agree with you. My daughter is gonna be a trust fund kid. That's for sure. Let me ask y'all another question, and then we'll get into the show. Let me ask y'all another question, and we'll get into the show. All right. Let's say hypothetically. Let's say hypothetically that um I was a trust fund kid, even though I grew up in the inner city of Detroit, even though I worked at the plant up until I was 26 years old. I don't know what type of trust fund kid works at the steel mill up until he's 26 years old. Even though I went broke in 2008, moved back into my mom's basement. Um, Even though I did all of that, right? Let me ask y'all a question. Aside from that type of stuff, what do y'all have against people that are successful? Why do y'all want us to be broke? Why do y'all like? What do you get out of being broke? Like, don't you want your child to have a trust fund? Like the thing that I didn't have as I was growing up is the thing that because I try to still balance it. I try to teach my daughter how to work hard and how to make sure that she's on top of things and to have failed experiences in controlled environments so that she'll learn a lesson. Don't you want your child to have a trust fund? Like, was that supposed to be a knock? If you said, let me tell you about the black community, this is how dusty we are. If somebody says, man, that's why you was a former drug dealer, we don't blink. This is how dumb we are. This is how retarded we have been conditioned to believe. If somebody say, yeah, man, you was dealing drugs when you was younger, we don't hate on that. We actually give people stripes for that. Oh, you was in the streets? Oh, dog, that's crazy. But if somebody came along and was like, yeah, man, my parents took good care of me. I had a two-parent household. I was raised in a great environment. And, I was a trust fund kid, which I wasn't. But let's just say, hypothetically, for the sake of the conversation, I wish I was. That would have made it awesome. But let's just say, for example, you was raised in a good environment with two parents and, you never dealt drugs, which I never did drugs. I never dealt drugs or anything like that. Why do we look at that as a bad thing? Because in other communities, that's to be celebrated. Listen, just because your mother was a whore, that that I don't look at my upbringing as a problem. Are you because your father dipped out on your mother and you don't know who your father is that supposed to mean that you're you get more stripes in the hood? Because guess what? Nobody cares about your hood. Just because listen, just because you lived a life where you still got PTSD, and every time that you go into a place where it's too quiet because you're used to hearing sirens every day, that's not the life that I want for my daughter. That's not the life that I want for my people. That's not the life that my nephews experienced. The goal was to grow so that we made the sacrifices so that our children didn't have to go through the same things, but hopefully they learn some of the same lessons so that they'll be grounded and smart and have good character as they grow up. I don't, when somebody calls me like this, man, you had a trust fund, I don't look at that as a negative. I'm like, man, that means that I really did something right in life because the fact that I didn't have a trust fund, but then I've achieved some of the highest heights that allow for you to really believe that's a blessing. It's a blessing to be in a space to where I can travel anytime that I want, that my daughter is in a great space, that she literally just texted me and said, Dad, I'm on a plane, I'm on a flight. That's a blessing. Stop thinking and pedestalizing this dusty behavior. You're not any more real. You're not any better. You don't get any accolades from it. And all it shows to other people that actually have great diction and know how to communicate and can speak proper English, All it shows is that you're an idiot. You're a loser, but you don't have to stay a loser. Your father was a loser. Your mother was a loser. Your environment was a loser. You joined the gang because you had no kind of, you felt like you wanted to be wanted. Half of y'all joined a fraternity because you wanted to have a community. Some of y'all joined a fraternity for the right reasons. Other of y'all joined a fraternity because you wanted to feel like you belong somewhere, and you've never been taught to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. I never needed nobody. I was always confident in myself. You know what I'm saying? So I never needed to join a group. I never needed to join a gang. Even if I was raised in a hood, I never felt like I needed to do that. You too can have your own mind. You too can have your own talking point. You don't have to be gay your whole life. You would have joined the gang because you wanted to belong so bad. You would have let them bust you down inside of your mouth. You would have let them take your boy toy. That's how much you really felt like you still want to be. If you 28, 29, 30 years old, 40 years old, you still talking about this dusty behavior, when you going to grow out of it? When are you going to grow out of your dustiness? When you going to grow out of like this thing where you think that the fact that you got touched on when you was a little boy by your uncle, you know what I'm saying? When are you going to grow out of the fact that you didn't have a trust fund? We all listen, the Bible says, the word of God says that it is a commandment. It was a commandment for you to leave something for your family. Just because your daddy died in a fish fry and nobody cared anything about him, and you had to bury him and he never gave you nothing, and you just met him for the last 6 months of your life and then he died right after that, don't mean that he a real one. He wasn't real. Your daddy is a sucker, bro. Your daddy left you to fend for yourself. Think about that for a second. Your mama couldn't even survive on her own. You was raised as a latchkey kid because your mama had to try to survive from the bad decisions she made in men, and your father never came to help you and never came to save you. That is why you have this dusty mentality. Your father failed you, bro. Your community failed you. Your uncles failed you. Black people failed you. Democrats failed you. That's why you hate women so much, bro. That's why you became an incel. That's why you started to join groups and communities, and you always pick the wrong thing. And it's not even your fault. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying that you change your mentality. That's why you've been in and out of prison. That's why you're not tripping about going to jail every day. You know what I'm saying? Oh, skip it. I don't care. You don't care about committing crimes. You're not worried about getting locked up. All of your friends and family is in there. That's where your community is. You're used to being in a dusty environment. We don't roll like that. You're used to this. You're used to suffering. You used to being on your knees. You used to answering to another man and saying, see, the only men that we answer to is the people that then give us the equity in whatever projects that we getting into. And so we can continue to run up a bag. We're trading our skill set for resources so that we can feed our family. You answer to other men just because you answer to other men. Even if you didn't get your boy toy took, you still gay because you voluntarily put yourself in a position to have to answer to you still gay. You're a gay man, even if you haven't got your bussy took because you do what they tell you to do. Hit him or we gonna hit you. You ain't never stood for nothing in your life. You a follower. The fact that you said that to me shows you a follower because you're just talking off of rumors. You a rumor follower. I don't You use the rhetoric of other people because you are nobody. You hate yourself. And I hate you for hating yourself. I hate you for hating yourself. I hate you for being a gossip girl. You a gossip girl. You a gossip girl. That's what you are. And I hate that for you. And I want better for you. Keep on texting me. Keep on asking for coaching calls. Keep on asking me to be able to help you. I can't help you. Help yourself. You a sucker. Make up in your mind that you want to do better. Make up in your mind that you want to do better. Don't be gay. Don't have a gay mindset. Don't have a we men. We men. It's nothing wrong with getting to the money. Stop being broke. Keep on asking people to go 25-75. You ain't even on a 50-50. You a 25-75. You a needy. You a needy person. That's why you don't tip. Y'all keep lying, talking about, man, they should pay him a livable wage. You should make more money. You in America, you dusty man. I really want to go in, but I know that the daycares is listening. You don't tip because you're broke. You don't tip because you're broke. I see you type of dudes at the change machines. I see you with your bottles. You're a future crackhead. That's what you are. You a dope fiend. You a fentanyl user. That's what you are. And it's all because your daddy. You know how they say, you can trace certain things through your DNA, through your lineage. Your daddy was a crackhead. You a crackhead. Your son gonna be a crackhead. You got a basehead lineage. You're here on this earth in order to feed other people through your poverty. You're gonna make license plates and you're gonna suck dick, and then you're gonna sip on fentanyl and you're gonna make drug dealers rich. That's what you are. That's what your son. You're not gonna leave your son any kind of trust fund. You're not gonna leave him anything. You don't even got life insurance. You're an insurance liability. If they tested you, if you tried to get insurance past a certain age, past a certain amount, they would test you and say, no, you're a crackhead. We can't insure you. I had the insurance people come to my office. I got concierge doctors. They came and they did a full panel on me and all of that. They said, you're clean as a whistle. We're going to lower the amount that you're paying in insurance as far as your life insurance policy. If they tested you, they would say he a basehead, nicotine, disease field, HIV. You're a dusty. You're nothing. You're nothing but a speck of dust. I walk past you every day and I don't even acknowledge you. The world don't like you. The world does not like you. They look at you as a leper. You were born to be a poverty-stricken person. That is what God has ordained for you to do, to be a stepping stool. And he has hardened your heart. You're nothing. You're nothing but a speck of dust. You're a change fountain diver. You dive for money inside of the fountains in order to be able to feed yourself for the day. You're a beggar. That's what I look at y'all as. You're a beggar. You're nothing. The only reason that you even have my attention is because I want to use you as an example of what other people are not supposed to do. You're a hooper. That's all you are. You're a Neanderthal. You resorted to playing sports because you couldn't study in class. You can't focus because you was born as a crack baby. You had crack in your veins because your mother was a user. You was born suffering. They didn't even think you was going to make it in a hospital. You're nothing. Nothing at all. Not even a speck of dust. Remember that when you talk to me. Anything you say to me, I wish on you 1,000 times in a negative way. Anything you say to me negatively, I wish on you 1,000. I wish it on your family. Anything you say positive to me, I wish it, I pray it on your family. I curse you or I bless you. It depends on what your mouth say. Listen, my words got power. God love me. Anything you say negative to me, I wish it on you 1,000 times. Anything you say positive to me, I wish it on you 1,000 times.